Good morning, everyone. Leah Dixon here from Port Coquitlam, British Columbia. I am live today with the Graceful Deer card class to go. So once a month, I do a card class to go. It's free to watch. And then if you'd like to get the PDF instructions that you can print out and the card kit, so you can make 2 of each of the cards that I'm going to show today, then you can place an order with me. $60 or more will get you the kit sent, and you just have to make sure to use my host code. It's in the link description of this video and everything. So that is how a card class to go works. I hope you guys enjoy this one. I am so happy with how these cards turned out. This is a stamp set I've had my eye on for a while. It's a background stamp, and yeah, I'm excited to start crafting with you. So I'm going to switch over to just my desktop, and let's see here. So there's my desktop. I'm just going to pull in the stamp set and show it to you. So this is the Graceful Deer background stamp. So it's just one big image. So one thing that you will want to have is some kind of either like a big board, like our Stamparatus, like something like this, a big board to attach it to. Or what I'm actually using this with this is the F block. So it's a nice big block that our stamped image goes on. So that is the stamp set that I'm featuring today. Now, of course, this is a single image. So I have paired it up with a sentiment stamp. And the sentiment stamp that I've paired it up with is the online exclusive Greetings of the Season. So this is pretty new. I believe it was July 1st. This came onto the online shop. It's not in any of our catalogs. And it pairs up with a beautiful set of dies. So it's all these gorgeous tags. They all have like the little hole. So it's quick and easy to make gift tags and everything with this set as well for the holidays. So that is what I'm pairing it with, just so that we have some sentiments on these cards. Now, today's cards are mostly, well, they're all Christmas cards, but they're done in a color palette that actually would allow you to switch up the sentiments as well if you wanted and make them into other kinds of cards. So now that I've shown you all the little goodies and everything, I'm just going to cover up. My light bar puts a little flash across the screen and it really bothers me. Like it catches my eye. I don't like that. So now that I've shown you guys what we're actually crafting with, I am going to go ahead and get started actually creating these cards. So the first card today is just this gorgeous deer scene with a simple Merry Christmas across there. Now, of course, like I said, these are kind of non-traditional Christmas colors. We do have a little hint of gold in our ribbon, but you could completely just put like a thinking of you or a thank you across there instead of a Merry Christmas, and voila, you'll have a brand new, totally different kind of card. There we go. I'm just going to put my envelope off to the side for now and put this up off to the side as well. And we're going to start crafting. So I have a basic white card base here. I am back to using my messy bone folder because I was out crafting with a friend yesterday and haven't unpacked any of my stuff. So my good bone folder is tucked away right now. Oh, I might have to go find that bag. I just realized I don't even have glue beside me. Yikes. Okay, so I am going to go grab my stuff because I need a glue stick. Whoops. Okay, let's grab a pair of scissors, bone folder while I'm here, and glue. All right, I think I got all my stuff. Let's see, hopefully that was the only trip I'll have to make. So to create this card, I am going to start by taking our DSP and simply gluing it to our card base. So this designer series paper is the Country Woods DSP from our annual catalog. The Graceful Deer stamp set is also in our annual catalog and was in last year's catalog. I find the background stamps get a little overlooked, so I really wanted to show this one, and I'm just excited to finally own it. I've waited over a year to make it to that spot on my wish list. All right, so there we go. We've got that glued. I'm just going to set my glue off to the side, and because we have a bit more to glue in a moment. And we're going to do some stamping on our little piece of white here. Now I am going to grab a scrap paper because I don't want to have to clean up too much ink off of my desktop. Because when we stamp this piece, we're only stamping a portion of our image. All right, and check my notes. So we're going to use Early Espresso ink, which is not on my shelf because I pulled it out for this video. There we go. So I am going to ink up, I'm actually going to ink up the whole thing just because I don't want to like short myself some ink. So it all depends on how this ends up lining up. So I've just inked up the whole thing with Early Espresso. Oh, good morning, Valerie. How are you? All right. Now I'm going to take this and I'm going to line it up so that I really just have the two deer in the image. I want to make sure that I get all the trees. There we go. And hopefully that's straight. All right. Just give that a good little press. There we go. All right. So we've got our image on our piece of cardstock now, just like that. So I can move my scrap paper away. Fine, now that it's cooler. Oh, well, it's cooler for now. I think over here, at least, it's going to heat up again today. But I'm enjoying the cool this morning. Yeah, for sure. All right, so now we've got this beautiful image. I am going to add a little bit of color to it. So I'm going to start with my light crumb cake. And I'm just going to color down the edge where they've already got shading on here anyways. Okay, so it's just super duper subtle with that one. You know what? Actually, I think I didn't use light crumb cake. I used light smoky slate. I'm like, that's not even showing up. Yeah, there we go. I used light smoky slate for that. So it's really, really tiny, subtle, leaving a lot of white on the tree still. All right, so did that. I know what I used the light crumb cake for. I used the light crumb cake and I used the fine tip end for the inside of the deer's ears. So that was our light crumb cake. I knew I used it for something. And then I used the dark crumb cake to, actually I'm going to use the fine tip to color in our deer. But I started with the fine tip on the antlers. And I actually did a couple of layers because I really wanted this dark, but I didn't want like a different tone to them. So I didn't want to grab a different color. So I don't know how many times I did this, maybe 4 or 5. Now the reason I'm not going over the same spot 4 or 5 times in a row is because I don't want it to get too saturated and bleed. So I'm giving it a little bit of time to dry before I go over it again. All right, I might go over those one more time at the end. We'll see how it looks. All right, so I've gone over those quite a bit, so they're dark. Now I'm going to take my dark crumb cake, and I'm not going to be going over this a bunch of times. In fact, I'm going to try and just do one coat. And we're going to color in our deer. Now they already have their shading. I am coloring over top of the shading though, so I don't have any little white dots inside that shading. All right, just a little scooch along there. Here we go. And so yeah, trying to keep this as light as possible, but it's still definitely darker than the light crumb cake. Oh, hi, Lila. Oh, I know. I absolutely love this stamp. Yeah, I waited a long time to get it. And now that I have it, I'm so excited about it. It is so easy to work with. Just creates such beautiful images. All right, so let's give him one little coat. So I'm being quite light and quick about my strokes. I don't want to kind of layer up the ink on their bodies. All right, so they're colored in, but now I'm actually going to add some color to the sky. So I'm going to take my light pool party, and starting at the snow line, I'm just doing like straight lines up. Now find where your tree is. Don't color your tree, pool party. So between the trees though, I'm coming in, and I just find it easiest to start at that snow line and drag my pen away. That way I'm not going to get any overlapping and dark spots. And I do find it's important that you've colored your images before you do this though. Makes it way easier to see where to put color and where not to. There we go. So it's just a very, very subtle blue into the background. So just like that. And now we're going to glue this onto our pool party and then onto our card front. All right, so like that. Glue this onto just a little bordered pool party, and then that can go straight onto our card front. And we're just centering it. That's it for our glue today. Well, not today, but for this card. So this is the part I struggle with, is the centering, getting everything straight. There we go. All right, I'm going to put the lid on my glue. Now, before we start working on our sentiment, I am actually going to grab my Wink of Stella, and I'm just going to come in and paint my snow lines. So it's just a super duper subtle little glimmer that we're getting onto our card. You're right, Lila. This would make a great masculine card. You could switch up the sentiment on this and make it say happy birthday. And voila, maybe omit the bow when we do our ribbon. Maybe just make it like a flag end instead. There we go. So just a tiny bit of glitter. You guys can't even see it on the screen probably, but it makes a big difference in person. It just adds a little bit of sparkle and shine to the card. So now we're going to do our sentiment. So this is one of the tags cut from that greetings of the season. So it's this thin one up here. So I just grabbed that. You know, if you have these dies and stamps, you could totally stamp first and then die cut it. That would completely work. I've pre-cut my tag and I'm just going to stamp right onto it. I am using Misty Moonlight ink, and what I've done is I've taken the Merry and the Christmas sentiment and I've put them side by side. Now the easiest way to do that is to actually lay them out on a grid paper or something, so that they're side by side, and then putting your block to them to pick them up. That way you're going to get them nicely spaced and side by side, but they are cut in such a way that you can put them side by side on the block, which means you don't have to line them up every time you go to stamp. All right, so I'm going to ink those up with Misty Moonlight. And then, because it's so clear, it's very easy to stamp this on your tag. I'd say it's easier to stamp onto your tag than it is to cut out after you've stamped. Oh, thanks, Valerie. Make sure you grab the replay later. If you're not on my newsletter, join it and you'll get the replay sent in an email to you. Have a great day. All right, so we've got our sentiment stamped. Now I'm going to grab the Night of Navy and Gold glittered ribbon. There we go. It is fantastic. This is a carryover as well from last year, and I was so happy to see it carry over because it truly is one of my favorite ribbons. Now, in the PDF, I actually give you guys measurements. I don't work so well with measurements, but I did measure it out for you guys. But basically, you're going to grab enough ribbon that you can make a little bow, and then we'll trim up the ends. So I'm going to tuck this through the hole on my tag, maybe. I've only had 1 cup of coffee this morning because my coffee was delayed because I decided to brew a whole pot with no coffee grinds in it. Didn't work out so well. So I had to start over. So I've only had 1 cup of coffee. So we'll see. This might or might not work. So then I'm not even going to tie a knot or anything. I'm just taking 2 bunny ears, crossing them over, tucking them through, and pulling. And then this is where we take a moment before we've pulled too tight. We take a moment to kind of wiggle everything around and position it how we want. All right, now it wants to flip to my backside. Why do you want to flip to my backside? I don't want you there. Okay, let's try that again. So, bunny ear, flip them around. Okay, there we go. So really, before I pulled too tight too soon, before you pull it even remotely tightly, you want to just make sure it's on the front side of your tag and get that all straightened out before you do anything. All right, I probably pulled off more ribbon than I needed. I'm going to have to trim up both ends pretty significantly. All right, now I will warn you, it does make a little bit of a glittery mess. I've got glitter all over my tabletop here. And then I'm going to come in and trim up the ends of my bow. Don't throw that in your coffee. There we go. All right, I'm going to sweep up some of my glitter here. Oh my. Oh, and I didn't get this wet. Darn it. I'm a little bit off, clearly, with my coffee making skills. We've been on holidays, and I am definitely still in holiday mode. All right, so now our little Merry Christmas here. I'm going to flip it over, and I'm going to put dimensionals on the back of it. Now, where are my dimensionals? There we go. Okay, you might even want to just do minis, but I think, oh yeah, I used regular size. There we go. Regular size dimensionals fit on here. So I'm actually going to use 3. So just along the whole length. There we go. Pull those off. And then you want to take a look at your deer and everything and where it's all falling and just position your Merry Christmas nicely. So there, just like that. All right. And then our final touch on this card is to add just a little bit of bling. I have got, I'll show you I'll open a new pack because I've used up all the whites on the other one. I've got a package here of the pecan pie and clear ribboned adhesive back dots. These are also a brand new online exclusive product, and they're beautiful. So the pecan pie with a little silver trim through it, and then the clear with the little silver ribboned trim through it, and they're just beautiful. So I'm actually going to pop 3 on here. Now I am going to actually open up my other pack because this card uses pecan pie, and I still have pecan pie left in my other pack. So you might want to use a take your pick tool for this. There we go. Get right underneath them and be able to lift them up like that. And maybe one there. There. I'm changing these up a little bit. I positioned my tag just slightly differently, and so where my spaces are is slightly different. Like that. There we go. All right, so just a little bit of shine on our project. So that is the first card completed. So if you place an order with me, you'll get your card kit and you'll get the supplies to make 2 of this card. You'll just need to have your own stamps and inks and adhesives at home, but you'll get all the DSP and cardstock, and it'll be pre-cut for the tags and everything. So there you go. That is our first card. All right, card number 2. Here we go. So all these cards use the same designer series paper. This one also uses the Country Woods designer series paper, just a different piece of it. This one's got more blues and grays in it with that whitewash look. And so this one, we've got our basic white for the inside, but I'm not actually going to glue it yet. We're going to do a bit of stamping on that. So I'm going to glue down the parts that we can. I'm going to take my designer series paper and glue it onto a piece of Night of Navy, and then glue it onto our gray granite card base. So using lots of neutrals for these cards. This year, our Christmas catalog, if you're a customer of mine, you should be receiving yours pretty soon. We have a new mini catalog that will go live in September. And so I have done my mailing selector and sent it out to current customers. So check your mailboxes. It should be arriving soon. I got mine in the mail yesterday. So there we go. So we've glued that down, and now we're going to do a bit of stamping before we glue anything else. So I am going to clean up my deer image. So I'm going to grab my chamois and just stamp my image onto my chamois a few times to clean it up. There we go. So we're nice and clean. Oh, smash. And then I'm going to grab some basic gray ink. Now for this one, I'm actually not going to ink up my whole image. I'm only going to ink this one little deer sniffing at the birdie. And then I am going to take my chamois, and I'm actually going to clean up my stamp anywhere where I stamped that I didn't want. So like this other deer right beside my small deer, I'm going to clean him up, and the trees and everything up the side. So I want to make sure there's no ink anywhere else on my image. And I am going to lay down this just in case again. I'm going to take my tag. This is another tag from the Greetings of the Season kit. And I'm going to stamp this as low as I can. Well, actually, no, this one I'm going to stamp kind of centered. But I want those trees for sure on the tag and my deer feet. So there we go. Now it looks like when I cleaned up the one deer, I cleaned up just a little too much. Now, if you've got neutrals, I think I have the gray granite. Yeah. If you've got neutrals, you can just grab a marker and come in and fix that. I just cleaned up just a little too much. All right, there we go. So always a little fix for those things. So now that we've got our image stamped on here, I can set that to the side, and I'm going to grab my little circle. Now this was cut from the Stylish Shapes, guys. And I'm going to grab my sentiment that says love and joy. So it's not overly Christmassy. You could always go into another stamp set and grab something else, maybe a little more Christmassy, but I love the love and joy. It's a nice one because then I can use this as a thank you Christmas card. I can just use it for a lot of things. It doesn't have to be Christmas per se. All right, so those bits are stamped. I'm going to set them to the side. And then just want to, oh, actually I didn't do any stamping on the inside. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and glue this piece into my card. I guess I could have done that at the beginning. I wasn't sure. I thought maybe I had stamped a deer inside, but I guess I did not. All right, so I'm going to take this, glue this inside. You can just leave the inside of the gray granite blank. It's light enough to be written on, but I like the finished look there. All right, now before we attach anything else, I'm going to tie another bow. I'm going to tie it into the top of this tag, and I'm going to do it the same way that I did my last one, although I might give myself just a little bit less ribbon this time so I don't waste so much. You want to make sure you give yourself enough ribbon that you can actually tie, though. That's kind of a big deal. Okay, so pull that through, make sure the two ends are equal. There we go. And then make my bunny ears. Back around. And now, before we get too far, let's get everything where it should be. Okay. Oh, come on. Okay, try that again. All right. Bow tying is always so much easier when you're not on video. All right. There we go. Second time. Good stuff. So then I can tighten this up because it's sitting on the front like I want it to. My bows are, my ribbon ends are sitting the way I want them to. Now I'm not tying a knot before I tie my bow because I feel like it would just make this too thick and bulky. So I'm really working to get that bow done without a knot. All right. So you can keep fiddling with this until it sits the way you like it. Ribbons are fun and easy that way, in that you can just keep moving them until they fall the way you want them to. All right, I'm going to trim those ends up. You can leave these as long or make them as short as you like. It's a really personal preference. My goal was, though, to not cover up my deer. I wanted to be able to see my deer once they were done. All right. So now I'm going to take dimensionals and put them on the back of this. I have them somewhere. There they are. And I'm going to actually do 5 on this one. 1 for each corner. and one for the center. There. And before I actually attach this, I'm going to take my little sentiment here and just see where I think it'll fit nicely for when I'm positioning this. All right, so now that goes down. Now I'm going to put this love and joy down here. I'm not going to put my dimensional on the back of my sentiment though. I'm going to put it on my card front down in the corner, peel off my backing, and then place my sentiment like that. All right. And then to finish this one off, we are going to get those, oh, where did I put them? We're going to get those pecan and clear dots again, and we're going to use those to embellish. So let's see. I am going to use my Take Your Pick tool to pick these up. They do stick quite solidly to their packaging, and so I want to make sure that I'm really lifting them up, and then I find it easier to place them as well when you've got them on the end of your Take Your Pick tool. You can really see where they're going to go. Oh, come on. There we go. Quite tricky. All right, just like that. So we've got those 3 embellishments on that card front. So that is our second card. They're quite quick and easy to create. You can see that you get a slightly different look depending on which portion of your blue washed DSP you get. I do quite like the one with more blue in it than the one that I just created, but they still work. And if you feel like you've maybe got a piece that isn't blue enough and you'd like it to be more blue, you can also grab a blending brush and just add a little tinge of blue to it yourself. All right, so that's our second card. And now our last card for our card class to go, I think this one's my favorite, is right there. So it's all the like pool party coastal cabana, and I just absolutely love that look with the wood. All right, so to create this one, we've got all of our bits in our envelope, and what you've got is an embossed piece and a regular piece. So we're going to take our embossed piece and glue it to our card front. And this is embossed with the, what is it called? Snowfall 3D, I think, Snowfall. If you make a purchase and get my PDF, it has all the details of what exactly was used. Pretty sure this one's called Snowfall. All right, and we're also going to glue this one to the inside of our card. All right, do that. So now this designer series paper that I'm using, the Country Woods, is part of the DSP sale that's going on right now. Stampin' Up! Has a DSP sale from now till the end of August. And it's really nice that they're doing that because lots of you also have bonus days coupons to redeem. So you can redeem those while getting some sale price on some DSP. And yeah, it's a great time. It's also a great time to join if you're interested in making, like if you've got a big wish list of stuff. For $135, you can actually join my Stampin' team. You get these PDFs for these card classes for free as part of my team. You don't get the make and takes, but you do get the PDFs. So you have all the dimensions and everything. And you get a great deal because you get $165 worth of product for that $135. And right now, you also would be able to pre-order from our new Christmas mini catalog coming out. It's one of the perks of being a demonstrator is that a month before a catalog comes out, we get a digital copy of the catalog and we get to place a pre-order. So I'm actually very excited. A bunch of new stuff is going to be arriving pretty soon. I got my shipment confirmation, and I'm going to get to play with some new Christmas things. All right. Oh, darn it. Now, I just glued that down, and I forgot that I was actually going to use a blending brush to add just a little bit of color to that. So it's not a super big deal because I've put it on the same color that I'm adding to it. So my Misty Moonlight, I'm just going to grab my Misty Moonlight ink and my blending brush, and we're being very, very gentle as we do this because I really only want this color sticking to my snowflakes. I really don't want it anywhere else. Okay, there we go. So just a very subtle coating of blue to that, just so that the snowflakes pop out a little bit. And then I'm just, even though it's not wet, I'm going to just give a little rub to make sure any ink that got onto my glass is gone. All right, so now we're going to take this piece and glue it down as well. Just like that. Oops. All right. And then there we go. All right. So all those layers just got like exactly that. They got layered. Glue them to their frame, glue the frame to the card front. So we've got a lot of stuff going on in our background. Now we're going to work on our foreground, and that's a little bit of stamping using Misty Moonlight ink again. So I have a circle from the Stylish Shape Circles and a tag from our Greetings of the Season dies. And I'm just going to double check that's Misty Moonlight. Yeah, Misty Moonlight, good. I'm going to use my Misty Moonlight ink to stamp this. So that means I'm going to want to clean up my image again. So same thing I did before, I'm going to grab my chamois and just stamp my image onto my chamois. All right, there you have it. So that's done. I am now going to take my Misty Moonlight ink, and I'm not going to ink the whole thing, but I'm not going to be shy about like going around my deer. All right. So with that inked up, I am going to bring back my scrap again so I don't have a big mess to clean on my glass mat. And I'm going to line my deer up in my circle. So I want to make sure that I'm getting my deer pretty much centered. So like his ear is going to be up at the top. And yeah, like that. There we go. Beautiful. All right. So, oh, sorry, I was a little low on there. So there's our deer. And he's kind of like he's caught in the spotlight. So that is that all finished. So this can now, actually, before I do that, I'm just going to take that same blending brush that I was using the Misty Moonlight ink on, and I'm just going to very lightly tap it along the edges. It's just going to add a tiny bit of definition to the edge of this circle so that it really pops out on our card front. All right, well, touch of blue along the edges. Now this can get attached to our card front with dimensionals. There they are. And so I'm just going to put a few on here. Usually do 3 for a circle, unless it's a really big circle. 3 dimensionals on there. Grab our card base. And so now I want to make sure I'm leaving enough space for my sentiment. So I'm kind of putting this here so that I can see the top and the bottom of the smaller rectangle. I'm not coming out over the edge of this one, but I am overlapping over that. And so it's almost dead center on our card. All right, then to finish this off, we're going to do our sentiment. So our sentiment is also being stamped in Misty Moonlight. And for this one, I've taken the happy and the holidays, and I've stacked them on top of each other to make one image. So again, it's fast to stamp instead of having to stamp one word and then fit in the next. Okay, there we go. So we've got that stamped, and now I'm going to tie a bow on here and attach it to our card front. So, oh my goodness, where did the end of this go? I've lost the end of my ribbon. There it is. Okay. All right, so get enough to make a bow. There we go. And same as the other ones, we're going to tuck it through, but we're not going to tie a knot before we start our bow. Okay. There we go. Just like that. And wrap those around. Yeah, so if you're like me and you're wanting to get a start on your Christmas cards, because I definitely like to start in the summer so that I feel like I go into the fall ready to just relax. Well, not really relax, but focus on back to school and then Thanksgiving and just enjoying family over the holidays instead of racing to make Christmas cards. We have a lot of Christmas products available in our online store. And starting in September, we'll also have that mini catalog filled with holiday items. Do keep your eyes and ears open. I will be sending out information sometime in August about an upcoming stamp camp that I have as well. And then I'm also running some local classes. So if you live near me in Port Coquitlam or feel like traveling, I do have a card class coming up on August 17th, and then there'll be another one in September. I can't quite remember the date right now. So, yeah, I also do private parties. So if you're local and want to book something with me just for you and a group of friends, I can do that. All right, so now to attach my happy holidays, I'm not going to put these on the back of my sentiment. I'm actually going to put them underneath my deer. So I've kind of like looked at where they'll need to be. Peel those backings off and pop that on. There we go. And then we finish this one off by adding some of those gorgeous pecan pie and clear gems, if I can find them. There they are. All right. So for this one, again, I'm actually doing a mix on this one. So I'm going to use a large pecan pie. Oh my goodness, if I can pick it up. There we go. Using a large pecan pie, a small pecan pie. They're really fighting me today. There we go. And then off on the other side, I'm going to add in some whites. I didn't want to put the pecan pie on the white. I just thought it stood out too much. So, oh my goodness, this one's just going to run all the way away from me. Ay, ay, ay. Seriously. Okay, there we go. Pop that down, grab a large one from over here. There we go. and another small one. So these are, oh, thank you so much, Lila. Yeah, I really liked how they turned out. This stamp set, the Graceful Deer, is just beautiful. So now I've paired it up with the greetings of the season, but really any holiday sentiments are going to work for this one. So that is our third card. So I'll just bring all the cards back in so you'll see what your full card class would look like. So just like that. And then, yeah, a $60 purchase using my host code gets you this card class to go, all the stuff for this one, and the printable PDF. So thank you so much for joining, and I hope you guys really liked that. You have until next Wednesday to place your order to get this card kit. Normally I do the cutoff on the Tuesday, but I'm actually going to be out of town until Wednesday afternoon. So as long as you've placed your order by Wednesday, then I'll be doing the prep and mailing this out on Thursday of next week for anybody who places an order to get this card kit. So thank you so much. If you're looking for card classes to go, I do have a full listing of them, and this one will be posted there by this afternoon on my blog at stampinwithleah.ca, and so you can go see what I've got there, and that allows you just to grab the PDFs. It's a smaller cost because all you're getting is the PDF, but it's great for people who don't live in Canada, or if you've missed a past class and now you have a stamp set and you're looking for ideas. And then I will be back not next Wednesday, actually. I'll be back next Thursday with a live video, but not a card class. I do my card classes on the first Wednesday of each month. So if that's what you're looking for, come back at the beginning of September and we'll have some fun stuff arranged for you. Everybody have a fabulous day. Don't forget to subscribe to my newsletter if you want to get the replay of this video into your mailbox, or future videos as well. If you miss any of my Wednesday morning lives, then you'll get them as a replay in your inbox on Thursday. All right, take care, everyone. Bye-bye.